Welcome to Off the Record, talking real estate with Joe and Michaela. If you're interested in the Portland, Oregon real estate market and want the unvarnished inside scoop, you've come to the right place. Thanks for giving us a listen. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Michaela.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm happy. It's spring. The sun is out.
Me too.
Aren't you excited?
I'm so excited. Just makes me so much happier. I think everyone's just happier here when the sun
It just
is
puts
out.
a smile on your face, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we live in Oregon, and it can be difficult, to say the least.
I agree.
Yeah.
But the end is near.
The end is near, and well, not the end, but the end
like
of winter.
A little dark. Aren't you so glad the world didn't end yesterday for the eclipse? Were you on that side of the internet, or was that just
was 50-50. I was good with it.
You're like, where we're at?
Yeah, we had a good run. We had a good run. We're good. No, I don't get why the eclipse would cause the world to end.
I don't know.
So the moon got in front of the sun. It's not the end of the world, people. Get a grip. Anyways, we are in spring, and spring means projects and improving your house. And today we're going to be talking about the best home improvement ideas for your money. This was actually a topic that was emailed into us from a past client, Mark and Sarah, who we love so much. They are the best.
Shout out.
Yeah.
The sweetest people.
And their sweet dog, Turkey. Hi to Turkey.
Hi, Turkey.
Anyways, we are going to be talking about what are the best things you can do as far as investing in your home and getting the most bang for your buck. Most of these, I should say, are fairly long-term projects. But if you're going to do something, these are the things that we recommend. So always exciting. And my wife and I have a ton of experience in this because about 2 years ago, we remodeled the entire downstairs of our home, which is also the recording studios.
Which we're sitting in right now.
Yeah, the Off the Record podcast. And we love it. It's one of the best things we ever did.
It's so well done. And I know it took a while. You guys had to live out of your garage. And
we lived out of our garage.
And
for
you're
6
upstairs,
months.
but oh my gosh, was it so worth it? It's every little piece. There isn't one thing I wouldn't change. So.
Oh, you're so sweet. So let's talk about that. I think the first thing that people should do is just think about what would make you enjoy your home more. If you're sitting in your home listening to this, take a moment and just think about what would give me the most absolute enjoyment out of doing some changes to my home. That's kind of what we started with, and it kind of blossomed from there. But I think that's important because no one knows your home like you do. And 99% of the time, what would make you happy in your home and the improvements that you do are probably going to translate to the people that may be purchasing your home down the road, if that's what you're thinking. Or maybe you're just listening to this and saying, we want to do something. What's the best thing that we can do? Not necessarily for resale, but for just your enjoyment. And I think it's important that you spend a few minutes thinking about that. I know that you guys did that with your house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the best things we did is so simple. I don't think it was more than $100, but we were lucky to do it on our own. But we framed in a laundry room because the house is so old that the laundry room is kind of in the kitchen, and it was just kind of awkward. So we framed it in and then put pocket doors on both sides. And oh my gosh, I just think it looks so much better.
It does look fantastic.
But yeah, that was so personal, right? And I could tell immediately that's what we wanted to change. So.
Yeah. And each home is different. Every items that we're going to give you here in this list are kind of generic and should apply to most homes. But in the end, every home is different and every situation is different. Take some time and figure out what works for your space and what would be something that you could get enjoyment out of.
Yeah, I agree. There's so many things and videos on the internet where it's like a kitchen remodel or a bathroom remodel translates to this. And I just don't think that's true in every home like you're getting at.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I agree.
If you are thinking about resale, we have clients all the time that will call us up and say, yeah, we're thinking about selling in the next year or two, maybe 3. We want to do XYZ, but we want to get your opinion. Reach out and we're more than happy to stop by, say hi, bring you a cup of coffee and sit down and talk about what you're thinking about doing. And we've got a ton of resources as well. So on our page, if you go to liveportland.com, click on podcast, you'll be able to find this episode. And in this episode, we'll have a link to our referral booklet, which has all the contractors that we recommend for doing all of the work that we're going to talk about right now.
I love that booklet. One little caveat too, this might sound a little intense, but I think if you're going to do a remodel, from personal experience, try not to DIY if you can afford to. save up a little bit longer and have a professional do it the right way, because we remodeled our house on our own. And I don't know why we did that, because now we have to do everything twice. And, you know, just from a buyer's perspective, touring homes too, you can tell when something is redone well or not. So, and it's worth waiting.
If you're one of the top 2 to 3% of the homeowners out there who have that skill set, have at it and go nuts. But for the majority of us, myself included, you know, man's got to know his limits. Highly recommend getting a professional involved. And sometimes that's expensive, but you also know that you're going to get it done right. There's guarantees involved. There's warranties. When the time does come to sell, you know that whoever comes in next is going to appreciate that quality. And also home inspectors and appraisers are also going to appreciate that. And they look closely.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Another piece of advice, go online, see what other people are doing, get some ideas.
I love that. For design or overall projects?
Yeah, both. I mean, design, features, colors, you know, what looks best, who's done it a certain way. We spent a ton of time online just looking at different doors and windows and trying to imagine how that would fit in what we were doing. Stephanie has that, and I know you do. You guys can see it, talk about it and see it and go, oh, that would look great. And I'm like, I just can't picture it.
Yeah.
I need to actually see it.
Yeah, I think Googling is definitely helpful. Pinterest too. You wrote down here the 30% rule. What is that?
Well, the 30% is just a good rule of thumb with larger projects. So like we redid the entire bottom floor of our house, and, you know, 30% is probably on the high side, but whatever budget you get put together from talking to contractors or doing your own work or whatever, always add a little bit more.
Oh, okay. I see.
Right.
Yeah. That's great advice.
So if it's $10,000, maybe budget yourself $13,000 just to have that extra amount and know that you're not going to get deep into a project and all of a sudden be like, I can't finish it because I just don't have that money in the budget to do this right now.
Right. Almost always costs more. You know, they open things up. They forget about flooring in a certain place when you move cabinets, whatever it is.
Yeah, for sure. It always does come up a little bit more. Although the contractors that we've worked with, most of them have really come in and done a fantastic job. Your dad did our roof and did a spectacular job, was not one nickel over.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's beautiful. Appreciate that.
That's not always the case. So I do really like that rule.
Yeah. The other thing is interview contractors, interview people. Don't just find one person and go, okay, here we go. Especially if it's a larger job. And some of the things we're going to talk about here are large jobs. But take the time to sit down with a couple of different contractors or get a couple of different bids from different vendors and find out what that number is, because I think you'll find bids vary a lot, but quality also varies a lot. And you kind of have to do your homework a little bit on those things, don't you think?
And, you know, one contractor might add a line item that you didn't even think of. And then the other contractor might not have added that. And maybe you're not comparing apples to apples, but you want to make sure there's no hidden costs.
Right.
So that's important part of the process too.
Okay, so let's talk improvements, Michaela. And these are going to be ranked by the biggest bang for your buck. What can you do that will make an improvement in the value of your home? Right?
Let's hear it.
So let's start off with those. And I'll start with the first one.
Okay.
Adding a bathroom or converting a half bath into a full bath. Like if you have a 3-bedroom, 1 bath and you convert it to a 3-bedroom, 2 bath, the value just goes through the roof, you know, and obviously it depends on your square footage and everything else, but those are 2 different categories. And not only the value increases because now you've got all these people that are interested who, if it was only a 1-bedroom house, there's a whole segment of people that are like, we just can't do that. That doesn't work for our family. It opens
up a huge percentage of the market. We just had a listing that's 3-bed, 1.5 bath. And the half bath could perfectly be remodeled into a full bath. It was killing me. But luckily the buyers saw that that was an easy remodel too. So could not agree more with
you. Yeah, we have a listing coming up here in Hillsborough that was a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath and made the half bath into a full bath. So now instead of a 3, 2.5, it's a 4-bedroom, 3 bath. And that's just a different segment. I mean, people look at that and that price point, it's probably in the $530, $540, somewhere in there. And Home run. Yeah. Kidding me? 4 bedrooms and 3 baths.
Yeah,
let's go.
Great space. Not seen very often. So next, this one I love because I don't think people look for this when they're walking through homes necessarily, but there is hidden square footage oftentimes in the attic or the basement. Basement isn't as normal here in Oregon, but sometimes the attic is tall enough to where you can do a remodel and have some extra square footage. And we've had a couple of listings where the sellers have done excellent remodels and really made use of the space, and it increases the value so much. And the basement can be a little tricky. A lot of older homes in Portland will have basements because if you want to legally put a bedroom in the basement, it has to have an egress. An egress is just a type of window.
Now you're talking some crazy real estate talk. What is an egress, Michaela?
An egress is a window, has to be 40 inches high or lower for people to get out in case of a fire. So you can't be trapped in the basement.
Right.
Legally.
Exactly.
You could put a living room down there without having an egress, but in order to have
egress, they have to be able to get in or out. Most of the time it's older homes.
Yeah.
Where you find this hidden space in the attic or the basement.
It's so good.
It's just so good. I know. Sometimes newer homes have some attic space that can get converted, where they call it flex space, that doesn't get finished by the builder because they're trying to save on cost or whatever. But then a homeowner comes in and goes, oh, is this storage? And there's this little half door, and they look inside and it's like, oh my gosh, look at all this. Boom. They kick out the half door, put a full door in there and finish it. And all of a sudden now you got, 300 more square feet of bonus room or whatever.
Right. Even if it's just like a playroom for kids or a mini office or a great closet with a lot of storage, it's so worth it.
So Stephanie and I had a house over in Bethany years and years ago when our babies were first born, early 2000s. Our house sat on our lot so that one side of it had the fence was way far away from the house. And I looked up the setbacks to see, what the rules were as far as how far away from the property line or how close to the property line you could build. And there was this huge amount of space for an office. And the home didn't have an office at the time. And so we got the permits, had multiple contractors in, ended up going with a guy who did a great job. And we had this fantastic office space.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, with built-ins and a door to the deck, private door to the deck. And,
oh, cool.
Oh, it was fantastic. But sometimes there's hidden places where you can find square footage, whether it's basement, attic, or maybe you're looking at your house going, these big windows here could easily be made into a door, and we could push out to maybe add another couple hundred square feet or whatever.
Definitely, especially homes on a bigger lot, or an older home on a bigger lot, especially because they didn't used to make homes so massive. You can very easily turn an 1,100 square foot home on a 8,000 square foot lot into a 1,400 square foot home and still have a great yard.
Exactly. The next one I love quality windows. Oh. Quality windows are the best.
I agree.
Yeah. And what we're talking about here is if you have an older home that has older windows, the improvement and the technology and everything that goes into the newer windows that are out there now is night and day. And they are expensive.
Yeah, very.
And they can get real expensive, but you can get newer windows for not, a whole lot of money, but it is so worth it. And the difference between the old windows and new windows, the heat savings.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yes, the savings and heating your home is amazingly different. And then also sound. New windows block out any sound outside. I noticed that in our house here. Our house is built in 2004. We had it built in 2004. And even the difference between the old windows we had and now the new windows we have in the downstairs here is night and day. We close everything up and you can't really hear the rest of the neighborhood around us.
So lovely.
Yeah.
I think it just adds such a luxurious feel to a house too.
Yeah. It's such a downer when you go into an older home and it's a beautiful home, but it still has the old windows. And you can see the home, if you're working with the buyers and you walk through there and you just see the buyers look like, oh, this is amazing. Yeah, we could see ourselves. Oh, yeah. Windows. There's
X amount I didn't budget for.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and side note on windows, if you're going to replace your windows, please, please, please do not get stuck in the trap of setting up a quote online with whoever you get on Google first, because I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but they will come to your house and they will not leave for hours until you sign a contract. Hours.
Yeah, it's high pressure, which usually means not a good product.
Right. And can feel scammy, and they can charge triple what other contractors would charge. So please reach out to us. I have a great husband and wife team who do windows.
Nice. Sounds like you have personal PTSD on this.
I really do. It was horrible.
Window trauma.
It was horrible. I'm not kidding. It was like 3 hours at dinner time. I had to escort them out. So bad.
Get out, window guy.
What is it going to take for me to get you to sign this contract before I leave? And I was like,
I'll sign it after you leave.
Cut your price in half.
I promise. Just leave. Yeah, no, that's the worst.
So,
great windows, though, are such a thing of beauty, and I love them so much.
So the next thing on our list is adding space for entertainment, and I think specifically doing this outside is great, especially.
Are you talking about outdoor living space?
I sure am.
Nice.
In Oregon, we don't have a lot of opportunities to entertain outside, but if you were to add, like a little undercover area in the back, that opens up many more months of the year for you to hang out outside. And I think that adds a ton of value, just the overall feel to your backyard. Maybe it looks like a little more landscaping or adding some concrete, but I think that goes a really long ways.
Yeah. Stamped concrete is inexpensive and an absolute game changer. Fire pits, a little garden area, outdoor kitchen, if you want to get crazy, are fantastic ideas. All of those ought to add a huge amount of value to the home.
Yeah.
I think. And people are looking for that now.
Definitely.
Don't you think?
Especially with little kids. Gosh, you just want to be outside, even without little kids. I mean, I feel like I live on my back deck.
I know.
If it's myself.
When it's nice in Oregon, there is nothing better than sitting and having dinner outside and relaxing.
That's a good one.
And that goes to, the story that you can tell about your home, especially when you're selling your home. If people can go outside and go, oh, I could see us having the Joneses over and dinner out here on the patio, and that's a seller.
Definitely.
This one is maybe the most expensive one. And I say that out of personal experience, but the major kitchen remodel, right? So we're foodies in my house. We've talked about that. I've posted that, all that stuff. And I love to cook. And when my wife and I started talking about redoing our place, I was like, okay, it's got to start with the kitchen, because I want a place to be able to cook for my family and entertain and have it be a fun spot. And we spent a lot of time thinking about that, finally pulled the trigger on it when we did the entire downstairs. And I love my kitchen now so much.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
You spend so much time in the kitchen. And I mean, you especially do, because you love to cook. But I think in all homes, it is the focal point. It is what people are going to be looking for.
Yeah. And there's really creative ways that you can incorporate, the cooking experience with the social experience and in that flow. And, I think a lot of people, it just takes spending a little bit of time thinking about it and maybe even getting a professional in. We had some different options, and we ended up with our configuration and how we did things from a recommendation from a designer that we met with. And she met with us, we sat down, and she heard what we were trying to do. And she goes, well, have you guys ever thought about, instead of an island, doing it this way? And immediately I was like, yes, that's what I want. I never would have thought of it.
Right.
Because, you're supposed to have an island and all that sort of stuff.
Right. But you do have an island. It's just not what your typical standalone island looks like.
Traditional. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's the feeling, though, like you said.
Yeah. But there are so many people that when they walk into a home, the kitchen makes or breaks things.
Oh, 100%.
For me personally, it's kitchen, primary bedroom, and the outside.
Exterior, or like the outdoor living?
Outdoor living. What about for you? What's your top three?
Oh, kitchen, primary bedroom, and curb appeal.
Nice.
I love rolling up to a cute house.
I do too.
It just makes me happy. And I think too, like going back to the kitchen remodel, if you don't feel like you have the bandwidth to knock down walls or hire a designer and do all of these things that can take a really long time and cost a lot of money, there are smaller ways you can refresh the space. Countertops aren't crazy expensive. There's a lot of different
You can
options
reface
there.
cabinets.
You can have someone come in and paint the cabinets. Appliances are relatively inexpensive. You know, having a matching set with the stove, dishwasher, and refrigerator makes a huge difference. And then cabinet pulls are under $10 a piece.
Yeah.
Still talking about quite a bit of money, but hopefully that option is less intimidating to people.
We're not talking 50 grand, 75 grand. We're talking a couple thousand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's doable.
And that's actually DIY friendly. Not for me. But.
Not for me.
Yeah. Sorry. Got no skills with that. It's mostly got no patience is what I've been told. I have very little love with that. So go figure. So those are the major improvement items that we would recommend. But let's talk about some of the other items that I think people are like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. And they have us over and it's like, hate to tell you this, but you've got some deferred maintenance.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it stinks because the first, set of items we talked about is the more fun. It's what you want to do.
I know.
But when it comes down to a successful sale for the highest dollar in return,
or just plain taking care of your home.
Right. Unfortunately,
so it can take care of you.
Yeah. The deferred maintenance is something that you need to think about.
What's the number one deferred maintenance item that you see?
As if I don't talk about this enough, roof and gutters.
That was such a soft pitch to you to get Michaela Mass talking about roofs. We need like special music that comes on whenever we get to roof talk.
No, because then everyone's going to turn it off. Shut up. We get it.
That's a whole nother podcast. Roof talk with Michaela.
I'll spare everyone.
Yeah. Well, everyone in town, so that's a big guest list right there. A good roof, though, a brand new roof, there's nothing better.
I can't agree more.
We just visited a house this morning that we're going to be listing or putting on the market, and they didn't even tell us either. It had a brand new roof, and I was like, oh, yes.
Good job, seller.
Go.
Usually they lead with that. That's the first thing they say on the phone. Guess what?
Guess what? I just spent 20 grand on a new roof.
Yeah. A lot of times, too, like my grandma, she... it was probably 24 years ago that she needed a new roof and, she knew she was going to be in the house for a long time. So she's like, I don't want to replace it twice in my lifetime. So she did a metal roof.
Oh, wow.
And that's, for people that don't know, that lasts a lifetime.
It's supposed to.
As long as it's installed correctly.
Correct. And you get the right metal that doesn't rust.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But there are options. But, if you think your roof might have a little bit more life in it, you can.
She said there's options. And I'm like, oh, here we go. That's the lead into what?
You can have somebody come repair it and maybe even give it a cert, which means they're giving it an estimated life span.
At least 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't see a whole lot of those anymore, though, do you?
No, because roofing companies don't want to promise that a roof will last that long, because it might not.
I get that.
But regular maintenance helps with these things as well.
Yeah.
So,
and what goes with the roof? Gutters.
At least in Oregon, Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Getting those things cleaned every so often is just such a great thing you can do to help your gutters last longer.
Mm-hmm. We went to South Carolina last year. Mm-hmm. And about 50% of homes didn't have gutters. And I just thought that was so interesting. So it must be true in more desert areas too, like, Arizona, New Mexico. But here they're so important because obviously we get this flooding of rainfall.
And we also have all the greenery that drops onto the roof and then into the gutters and clogs all that up.
Yeah. And, if those are clogged or installed improperly, it can overflow and ruin your landscaping or your siding. Mm-hmm. Those two things really are what keep your home healthy from the outside in. And it's usually what buyers are most concerned about. Yeah.
If you're selling your home and Michaela and her clients walk up and your roof is hurting, that's not a good first impression because we know how much that's going to cost. Buyers go 1.5 times that and get freaked out right out of the chutes.
They just think about how they don't have that cash in hand.
Right. And will the seller pay for it? And
right.
Sometimes the seller's like, no, I think that's the buyer's problem. And the buyer's like, maybe I won't buy your home.
Yeah, I haven't been living here for 20 years. Why would that be my problem?
Yeah, exactly. So roof and gutters. The other one that I love is that new coat of paint, right? It goes
such a long way.
So roof, gutters, paint. If those three things haven't been done in the last, roof in 20 years, at least looked at in the past 15 to 20 years, and the paint hasn't been addressed in probably that long either, it's probably a good sign that that's where you should maybe focus first before, the crazy indoor stuff.
Right. And paint doesn't cost as much as you think it would. If your siding isn't in great health, that's when it can get really expensive. But if you, have most of your landscaping away from the home and you don't have some massive 3-story house, usually it's pretty affordable. But if you do have a 3-story house, my heart goes out to you because that's when it does get spendy.
Yeah, big ladders. The great thing about new paint is it comes with new caulking, right? That's the thing I noticed when we painted our house was I'd be outside and I'd be looking at my siding going, there's a gap. Oh, the caulking cracked there and there's a gap. Wherever there's gaps, moisture, water can get in there and can affect your siding. With a new paint job, you're going to get all that stuff scraped out and then new caulking put in and the paint seals it. And man, it's like a new house.
I agree. Just refreshes everything. Looks so great for the curb appeal and those exterior photos that people obsess over on the internet.
One of the items that I think improves value, but we kind of put into the deferred maintenance spot is
painting or effacing cabinets. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Is that what you were talking about?
No.
Oh,
sorry.
That's okay.
Changing out flooring.
Oh, yes.
Flooring. Yeah. You can do all sorts of beautiful, wonderful stuff in your house, but if your floor is worn, it's not a good combo.
If you've never taken your shoes off in your house.
Yeah. Well, it's not as much that, but like we have pads.
Right. It happens.
We had and you guys are probably like, Joe, good Lord, what did you do to this house? But we had our floors done at the same time.
The answer is 3 boys.
We have 3 boys. We have 2 dogs. We've had 3 in this house now, and it just got hammered. The floors did. And so obviously we had to redo those as well. But there are all sorts of incredibly beautiful choices you can have out there. The engineered vinyl and all that is really, really cool. It used to be where you said vinyl and people were like, oh, no, you can't put that in a nice home.
Run away fast enough.
Right, exactly. And now with the choices that are out there, you can hardly tell. Sometimes I can't tell.
Me either. Remember the house we were at the other day? We had to look it up.
Yeah.
And we were like looking at the, what's that called?
The
vents
register.
in the floor. Yeah. to see if it was hardwood or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Little pro trick. If you're in a house and you want to see if there's hardwood floors, go to the vents and the vents will pop up and you just kind of look underneath the carpet, or you can see underneath what is currently there and see if there's hardwoods.
Great tip. I didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little public service announcement about floors, though. Try your best to just have 1 or 2 types of flooring, maybe 3 throughout the home. I think it makes houses so choppy when there's like 5 different types of flooring and, you know, tile in the kitchen and the bathrooms and then carpet in the bedrooms, you know, and a lot of times that's just how homes were designed. So it's kind of hard to get around, but it is worth like redoing some trim, shimming up the floor to make things match. That's the most feedback we get in a house that has 5 types of flooring. People just can't stand that.
Flooring is actually one of the more affordable things you can do too, I think.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of the other things that we've talked about here.
Right.
But yeah, let's go back to your painting or refacing cabinets. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Because I do think that is it
is deferred maintenance. You're right. And it's like the curb appeal of your kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's so easy to nick them. I was vacuuming too fast the other day and nicked my cabinet, which makes me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But like Joe said, relatively inexpensive. You can, for the most part, maybe sand and touch up your cabinets with a little painter's brush.
That is a DIY that I think I could actually do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it scares people because it's nothing like a wall, but I think it just takes patience and shutting in your kitchen for a day or two.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about some of the would be nice to have things done, right?
Oh, yes.
Can we start with AC?
Oh, global warming. We used to not have to have AC in Oregon, and now
we had an 80 degree day in April earlier this month.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, it's crazy. I remember when I started right after the Civil War in the 1860s here in real estate in Portland. I feel so old when I say that. I
thought you were talking about like the ducks and the beavers. I was like, that's a really weird time
sorry.
to remember.
I was just saying back when I started in real estate, and whenever I say that with you, I think, good Lord, he sounds old. Golly.
You did
when the North and the South had just finished fighting. I remember when I got licensed.
That was funny.
No, but when I started in real estate.
It was before I was born.
I'm fully aware.
Not to make you feel worse.
Wow. Yeah.
That more just makes me look like a young, dumb baby.
No.
More than you looking like an old
sad.
man.
You are a seasoned, grizzled real estate veteran that has learned all this so quickly, and it's taken me 29 years to learn all this.
It's not true.
Yeah. So anyways, we digress. But when I started, no more jabs? Okay, good. When I started, there was no AC hardly anywhere. I mean, I'm serious, Michaela. 20% of the homes had AC.
That's crazy.
25%. It just wasn't necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And now, what do we get? 4, 5, 6, 7 days of 100+ degrees here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
People
nuts.
who don't have AC can die. Sorry, that was pretty morbid, but
that was dark.
Got dark fast.
Yeah.
But
roof talk went sideways.
But with that, just working with buyers, I mean, that's pretty much a non-negotiable for most buyers now. It goes along the lines of the conversation of how many bedrooms they want. They usually throw an AC. Like, I don't even want to entertain a house that doesn't have AC.
And you almost, from a seller's point of view, you almost have to add a credit now, I think.
Yeah.
Most situations. So
if you have central heating, it's pretty easy to add cooling.
Yeah. Most newer houses are wired for it too. So you should be in good shape there. But yeah, it's one of those things. If you can add AC, that's a big value add. Plus, enjoy your home in the summertime, right?
Don't be sneaking off to restaurants to get the AC if you don't have to.
Have you done that?
No, but I'm sure people do.
Wow. Okay. I never thought of that.
Just sit in a sweat box.
Starbucks is AC, right?
Works great.
What about landscaping improvements?
Oh, this one's so good because it is a DIY. If you're willing to pick up a shovel or whatever.
I'm not.
I know. You're shaking your head. Luckily, your wife is. And she does a beautiful job, I will say.
She's got the green thumb, is what I tell her.
I love it. But mature landscaping, even if it's not mature, but again, it just highlights your home. It kind of just brings it all together.
Yeah.
Having it for, the outdoor entertaining that we talked about, but also just the curb appeal. I mean, it's so easy to just take care of the lawn and add a few plants or flowers. Things do so great here in Oregon. We're actually having on a special guest who's going to talk about what plants.
So excited to talk to her.
We should plant for, maximizing curb appeal or for what season. But
can you share who we're going to be meeting with?
Her name is Sherry Dudek, and she is the owner of Root Pouch, which is a fabulous local company that they invented. They're basically pot liners, but the soil that's in the pot liner is fabulous soil, that's been groomed and made for
that
maximizing plant health
too.
Yeah, they do very well. Yeah.
That's a Hillsborough company. Yeah. I'm excited to talk to her about that because, boy, a lot of different ways you can use that around your yard and what you're doing. So
definitely.
Curb appeal is a must. And everyone likes to come home to their home and go, oh, yeah, looks good. Which brings me to front door, garage door updates.
Good call.
Not inexpensive, but not horribly expensive. Surprisingly so.
Especially the front door. You can get a lot of like contractor stores. I don't even know how to, warehouses. I don't know.
You can also just paint your front door.
Right.
Stephanie had our front door painted, and I think she whispered what she was going to do when I was asleep one night. I didn't remember her telling me that I was going to come home to a blue door, but I did.
It looks great.
Well, it was a shocker when I first walked up to it, but it grew on me and I like it. And, you see more front doors that have different colors and stuff, and it's cool.
It adds a lot of character.
Yeah.
I think. And the garage door isn't as exciting, but it does do a lot for that curb appeal.
Yeah.
Mainly you just want your garage door to work. And that goes along with painting your exterior too.
Yeah.
Paint your garage doors. It goes a long way.
This last one is something that's near and dear to my heart because we love spending time outside in the summertime, especially, but really all year long. If it's not pouring down rain, we spend time outside, but exterior lighting.
So good.
There's so many different options. And it goes back to that. I can't really see it until I see it, right? I can't imagine in my head. And we went online and we're looking at different stuff and this and that. And there's so many cool ideas about what you can do with lighting. And it just adds such a cool element to your backyard, your front yard, all parts of your house. It's one of those ways that for not a lot of money, you can really spruce things up and make things look really cool and add a really warm element to where you live. So
even just changing out the fixtures, you don't necessarily have to go in and add more spaces for lights, but the fixtures can go a long way and they're relatively inexpensive at Home Depot.
It's so funny because I see these homes that have these really cool outdoor spaces, outdoor kitchen and all this stuff. And the lighting is just not great. It's like, you should really think about doing something different with this. It's hard to say that, but
you almost got there.
Yeah.
Your $50,000 pizza oven doesn't mean anything.
And you have no light for at night. What is going on here?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and assess my exterior lighting.
Are you?
Yeah. Now you got me thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a great way to do it. So that is our show about the best home improvement for the money. What do you think? I think there's some great things out there.
I think so too. What would you say? I think these repairs are like 3 to 5 if you're thinking of selling in 3 to 5 years, or do you not want to put a time limit on it?
I say do them sooner than later. If you can save up or if you have the money right now, go do these things. Even if you're not thinking about selling, just for the improvement. I mean, we did our whole downstairs. We have no intention of selling, but it was kind of one of those things where you see so many people that do these things right before they sell. Now we're ready to sell. Well, you didn't get to enjoy it. And that's really, what I would encourage people to do is, if you feel like something would add to the enjoyment that you get from living in your space in your home, do it now. Get the enjoyment out of it. Even if you're thinking about selling, 3 to 5 years, whatever, do those things that are going to help you enjoy it between now and then.
Yeah, especially that AC, so you don't.
That's number one on my list, right? That's a big one in our lives. Anyways.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. And visit liveportland.com for more information on this. And I think we should post this list. What do you think? I think that'd be helpful for all those that aren't taking notes out there.
In your car.
In your car. We'll have this on liveportland.com, livportland.com. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us today. If you're interested in finding out more about Joe, myself, or the Live Portland team, you can go to liveportland.com. Thanks for giving us a listen, and see you next time on the Off the Record podcast.